All right. Well, hi, everybody. Welcome. I am so thrilled to be here with you today in Birmingham, not Birmingham. I'm Amanda Groves. I lead the product marketing team, as Lahia shared. And I'm so thrilled to be giving our product talk, right? Where have we developed over the journey at Enable, and how have many of you customers been along with us for the ride? So what we're going to be talking about here is our point of view on rebates and pricing, and how these big commercial levers are really changing the game for commercial trade writ large, and how everything is evolving. As you guessed it, if your bingo card isn't full of AI and pricing rebates quite yet, it will be by the end of this talk, and I can't help but want to do like the rebates yes from Kevin's talk too. That's a good one to take away with. As I was preparing for this talk at home, just a lot of discussion over dinner, like, Mom, where are you going? What are you doing? And I have a 7 and 8-year-old, and my 7-year-old, a very curious boy. As the more we were talking about trading economies and trade, the word trade was a key operator here. And he was like, well, Mom, are these people going to be trading Pokemon cards? And at first, I laughed, and I was like, probably not. I don't know. There could be still some adult collector fans, and no shame in that. But the more I thought about it, Pokemon is something that people are collecting cards, battling, competing, trying to complete their set, and that's not so off from trying to get a better deal, right? Rebates and pricing are all about value exchange, negotiation, relationship building, and the only difference, well, not the only difference, but a key difference in not getting the rare Charizard card is we're managing margin, growth, and building trusted trading relationships. So that trading element is a big through line here, and really the bedrock of our product vision and how we structure our programs here at Enable. So before we head to future product state, I want to take us through the journey of how we've evolved over the years, and we're going to rewind the tape starting with how we got started, right? So Enable was started on the buy side with trading agreement development, helping distributors calculate and claim rebates that they were owed. And then we expanded into the sell side, helping manufacturers design and manage programs more strategically. And this was a really critical inflection point for us because, right, we are crossing the chasm into a true network of harmonious trading relationships. And as the years progressed, we saw a huge opportunity to expand that commercial programming into incentives, right? How are we thinking about pre-sales incentives on the pricing side and post-sales incentives on the rebate side? And that's where the acquisition of Flint Fox has really helped us to think about the larger opportunities and how these are really two sides of the same very important coin in the value chain. And AI is certainly woven in throughout with how we're operating away from the 101 in the day-to-day and allowing you practitioners to use AI and think about how we're getting our next best actions out of pricing and rebate data so you can get back to the 201 and the 301 of your day-to-day. So we've talked a lot about Enable and Flint Fox, really, really exciting product innovation where together, pricing and rebates, we are building that future of AI-powered pricing and rebates where you're building your programs collaboratively. On their own, each of these products were solving really important commercial problems. Enable, again, talked about rebate claims and management and settlement and pricing. How are we pricing at the speed of what we're facing in the market, right? Things are going so fast. Things are changing, volatility, right? Tariffs, you could price in the morning and then in the afternoon it's gonna be a different price point. So with these two products together, they're really a unified platform where we're able to settle in one place, design in one place, track in one place, claim in one place. And it's not just about, again, the separation, but how they come together to be a world-class commercial system. Sorry. So moving into our roadmap, right, we have 5 key focus areas, and this roadmap has come together really from you all here in the room. Our customers who are a part of our customer advisory board, our Enable Product Council. If you're talking to your CSMs, right, we're getting that feedback back into how we're thinking about delivering our product. So the first main area is really artificial intelligence. We are moving beyond dashboards, right? Dashboards have been around in the platform for quite a bit of time now. We're going to be embedding AI directly into your workflows so the system doesn't just report on what happened, right? It's automating away the busy work. We're getting more proactive and predictive and highlighting deal optimization opportunities at just the right time so you can take advantage of these programs. Our second investment area is platform, right? Enterprise readiness. Do we have the right connectors into your ERP systems? Are they rich enough? Think SAP, Oracle, Epicor. So that's where things are going to get really exciting. And then also more system access in individual access management. So for those people who are in platform, do you have the right governance? Are the data set to what you want them to see, right? Customization, so when we move into more connectivity, everything's secure and control, and governance is at the center of how you're managing your trading partners within Enable and outside of Enable. Third, pricing and rebates. I mean, again, bingo card getting full. With FlintVox and Enable, we're now unifying volume rebates at scale was the fastest pricing execution engine on the market, right? 5,000 SKUs and in seconds. It's pretty incredible. And then expanded rebate capabilities. So we have claims. We're going to be investing more in settlements, collaboration, collaborator, how you bring your partner ecosystem into trade within Enable. So your finance team, your sales team, and your trading partners can all engage with confidence, clarity, and consistency. Together, these focus areas position Enable not just as a rebate platform, right, but as a connected commercial management and optimization platform, unifying pricing, rebates, data at speed, and security. Now, I know there's been a lot of polls, and I think for this slide, I'm really excited about the roadmap. We've done so much work with our customers and our advisory team, so I would love to hear, one, if you want to raise the roof. I didn't bring my DJ booth with me, but if you want to raise your hand and share, just a temp check on how much are you already using AI in your day-to-day? How much is your company already testing AI in forecasting, for example, or pricing or demand planning? Anyone in the room? Have you used AI to summarize a contract or, okay, excellent, great. Have you used AI to analyze a contract or analyze rebate data quite yet? Good. We have some progressives. What about, raise your hand if your leadership team has committed to making AI part of your 3-year strategy? 2 to 3 year, 1 year in the near future. Excellent. What about, last one, if you're cautious, you're just waiting to see, is this an AI bubble? Are we in the AI hype? Will there really be ROI in this? So raise your hand if you're one of the cautiously curious. Fair, yeah. There's a lot, I can steal the rebate skepticism to AI skepticism. It's very real and palpable. So a lot of different dimensionality with how we feel about AI, and great talk this morning about different perceptions and how we can use AI and intentionality and biases. And it's kind of the point, right? AI in theory is everywhere, but in AI in practice, it's a little uneven. We're here to explore, how are we thinking about AI in Enable? How are we making sure it's not a bolt-on, right? How is it really using our commercial data to get the next best actions, automate away the busy work, and make sure that you're focusing on the right things at the right time? So really moving from hype to practical payoff. Which brings us to this as a product marketer, very excited. This AI-powered analytics release for us was really our first big step into the AI journey at Enable. It does prove that practical AI can really improve your AI and rebate programs and make the leap from buzzword to business impact. What you're looking at here is really the next step in our AI journey. So self-serve insights, no more waiting on reports. You don't have to ping your IT team and wait for hours or days depending on global circumstances. Can get them back in seconds and in plain English. Ask questions, big data questions, get big data answers back. Performance monitoring. So recent update is now we have KPI tags and dashboards right in AI-powered analytics where if you have certain things you want to monitor and make sure every time you're in the system, you want to keep track of it and have proactive alerts, threshold near or threshold being hit on your rebate programs. That's something that you can now track. You don't have to manage data silos and reports in different places. Change analysis. So this is a show me what changed and why capability, right? You have 2 slices of data. You're maybe not cautiously curious, but you're actively curious about what's going on in your rebate programs. So you can make that shift and spot different changes with confidence. And then also smart and deep analysis. So maybe, we're all very busy. It's practical that you're gonna not be able to keep track of everything, right? So this will help you have that anomaly detection in real time, risk detection, why analysis. Emerging trends may spot them before the human eye does. So surfacing those signals when they're most important to you and your team. And with that, we have a preview of what's coming with the Enable AI roadmap.
Rebates should drive profit, not frustration. Yet, your team spends hours sifting through dense agreements, causing delays and uncertainty. And when performance dips, it's hard to know what to change. There's a better way. Introducing more Enable AI innovation, showcasing how artificial intelligence improves rebate management. With Enable AI, you gain immediate insights into your rebate performance. Explore your agreements with an intelligent assistant that understands your data intricately. Request performance scores. Uncover optimization opportunities. Choose the strategic direction you want Enable AI to optimize, and generate improved agreements aligned with your strategic goals. Visualize the potential outcomes and make informed decisions swiftly. Empower your finance team with better, real-time data about rebate programs. Enable your sales team to accelerate deal closures. Align your agreements seamlessly with your business strategy. Stronger partnerships, better profit margins, growth without guesswork. Enable AI, providing the clarity and confidence to trade smarter and outpace change. Want to see Enable AI in action? Visit our demo station, share your thoughts, and explore how we can innovate together. Let's shape the future of rebate management.
It's really, really exciting. I mean, we showed this back at Catalyze in Chicago, if any of you were there, and this was just the beginning. And we, as an AI research and development team, have been hard at work, working with many of you in our innovation lab, thinking about, again, how we can take these practical AI use cases and expand the art of what's possible in our platform. So from an AI research perspective, we shared a little bit of where we have gone and developed in AI-powered analytics, but there's still so much more that we can do. I mean, truly, like boundless exponential opportunities. It's a really exciting time. With Enable AI, we are focusing on two main use cases at the start. So in early access right now, based on customer feedback, again, from Customer Advisory Board, where do you have the long tail of agreements that it's hard to keep up with and negotiate? You want to focus on your most strategic partnerships. So let AI do the work in optimizing those long tail agreements, right? Maybe you're onboarding your team or your partners and learning a new software is not the best use of your professional time. Have Enable AI Q&A who has been trained on the entire ecosystem of our help center library, very big brain, onboard your team members and partners for you, right? So these are the kind of use cases we're thinking about. Automatic agreement creation. There's a lot of data to ingest, thousands of agreements. And so wouldn't it be great if instead of manually bringing in these agreements, you had an agent to do that for you, right? So these are the kind of things we're considering right now in our AI labs and our innovation center. Future state, we're thinking about, again, more proactive detection on margin leakage or getting to net, like margin profitability. Some of us are working with very thin margins, and detection ahead of a surprise is absolutely on the radar for us. So we're looking at detecting, diagnosing, resolving, and setting up your plan for resolving in real time. So double-clicking into Enable AI for just a minute, it is really designed to support you in the platform starting in your trading programs. It's learning from your trading program data. It's stepping up with guidance and creating agreements faster and easier than ever. You're going to have immediate support. This is something we've heard a lot, again, from our customer advisory team. Enable AI has the entire help center built into it. This means instant answers, step-by-step guidance. Hey, I need help setting up this report, or what do you think about this trading program? It is your in-suite collaborative rebate strategist. You're going to have trading programs expertise, so you're chatting with Enable AI about your trading programs, getting immediate text-based responses, and giving it feedback, right? This is going to take time, and we want your feedback. We want you to help train this and make it purpose-built for your unique use case. And agreement creation, this is one I'm really excited about, again, with all the talk we've had from customers about how important this is. You can still manually enter your program. We want human intervention where it makes sense for you and your teams. But soon you'll be able to simply upload a PDF of your rebate agreement, and Enable AI will generate the trading program for you. So it's going to be faster, simpler, and way easier to add many, many of your agreements. We know some have hundreds of thousands, right? So this is really, really exciting from an optimization perspective. If you are interested in any of these early AI use cases, or you have some that have just sparked from discussions here in the room or outside when you're getting tea or coffee, we do have, as Lahia mentioned, we have a demo booth upstairs. We have our lead AI product designer here and our product team. They would love to get your feedback. So thinking way into the future. So now I shared we do have those initial capabilities in early access, but down the roadmap line, we are thinking deeply about how we're applying the power of large language models. One of the toughest challenges that we have is how do we surround that around leakage, revenue leakage, margin leakage. And the solution on detection is in its really nascent stages, but we're really excited about some of the prototyping we've been able to come together as an R&D team and building a surround strategy around margin protection. So thinking about it in 4 key pillars: detect. AI is going to automatically detect potential margin leakage with anomaly detection, risk identification, and smart alerts. So maybe you have a sales team out negotiating a deal and you've set strict credentials for what they need to follow, but we're not omnipresent. We don't always have the information on these other sides. So you will have that automation, monitoring, and provisioning to connect the dots and have more connectivity with your internal teams that are going to make your external contracts and deals way more profitable and safe and secure. Once that detection is alerting your team, you're going to be able to identify, and AI will help you get to the root cause of what's causing this problem so you can solve that real problem faster. And then once that issue is identified, you'll be able to get a plan that's tailored with next step suggestions, scenario planning, optimization, and deal scoring, right? Maybe this is a deal that is a very strategic tier 1 partner. It's a critical priority for your business to solve it. You'll be able to hierarchy and have that deal scoring in place. And another use case is maybe you're setting up a deal and there's things that you can improve, so AI will automatically help you understand the conditions and the variables that you could put in place to get that to a top-tier score in your trading program. And then resolve and manage. So we'll be looking into integrations. It's great, having this data in Enable, but we're building an ecosystem of trading partners, and within that, an ecosystem of connectors. Your data is only as good as where it lives. Is it out with your team? Is it in your Power BI tool, your ERP system? So making sure we have the connectors so the data is getting to where it's most useful for your teams. So again, I mentioned Jamie Lee Everett. He's our senior product manager, principal product manager for this project. He is here. He may be upstairs. Oh, he's in the back waving his hand. So if you're interested in being a design partner or a data partner, you have ideas for what Enable AI could do for your business, definitely get some time with Jamie. We have our prototypes here, so if you want to take a look and see more in action, please do. So I could stand up here all day and talk about product. I'm sure a lot of us could, but I think the best part of being here is hearing how the product has helped our customers and celebrate their success stories. So as we shared, we are really excited to spotlight Cromwell Tools today. One of their great successes, they've managed so much, 300 suppliers, 38 branches across 30,000 customers with a wide range of industrial tools and equipment. Just a little bit of their origin story. Rebates used to be very manual on spreadsheets and email threads and individual people, so the load on how you're managing all of these things in one place is really burdensome, which I'm sure a lot of us here in the room can resonate with. But with Enable, Cromwell has totally transformed rebate management, cutting administrative time by 75%, centralizing all their agreements into a single source of truth. Enable, and what once was really manual, time-consuming processes has allowed them to build more of a strategic advantage in their trading experiences. They have stronger supplier relationships and greater profitability, that net, right? it's directly tied to all of the good work that they've done in progressing their rebate programs and up-leveling and challenging themselves to do more with the data and tools that they have. So to share their story firsthand, we have Alan Milner from Cromwell Tools Commercial Director, and we would love if you could welcome him on stage to have some discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Of course. So welcome to the hot seat. We don't have any buffalo wings, I'm so sorry, for next time. So could you start just by introducing yourself? I know we gave a bit, but yeah, would love to hear more.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Alan Milner, Commercial Director of Cromwell Tools. I've been in the world of pricing for near on 20 years now, stock and trading, kind of data analytics, and then moved into kind of commercial output from that, probably in the last 10 years or so.
Amazing. Well, welcome again.
Thank you.
From your vantage point, what is the most exciting or challenging part of leading commercial and the pricing side of the business? I know you're a pricing specialist, so yeah.
Yeah, sure. So I reflect on this, and there was once upon a time in my career where I was very much fixated with the data, to the point where I didn't really even care who the customer was. You know, that was just a number or a data point in the spreadsheet, and I kind of went from there. As my kind of career developed, what I started to realize was that the biggest thing that I enjoy the most is building those commercial deals with our customers or our suppliers. In particular, being able to walk away from a deal knowing that both people on both sides of the table have got something out of it, and it's going to be a sustainable future. For me, that's definitely what I'm most enjoying in the role at the moment.
Yeah, amazing. I know your team is currently implementing special pricing agreements and investing more there, so I'm curious, you just shared you got started at Enable with rebates, you're expanding into special pricing agreements or SPAs. How does that fit into your broader business strategy? How are you all thinking about that?
Yeah, sure. So rebates obviously as a mechanical thing, it's a way of managing our income and cash flow. But I think more strategically speaking, it's allowing us to kind of develop guardrails in which behaviours we want to create. So particularly for SPAs, that's all about ensuring the relationship between the supplier and the end user. So we're a distributor in this space. And when you've got that working really well, you've got the loyalty from the supplier, but you've also got what the customer wants. But there can be a lot of administrative burden on that, as we discussed in the previous session. So having it in one system makes it by far easier, and then you can scale as well. It's really hard to scale if you don't have something you can scale from. So that's why we're looking to introduce SPAs, and have been.
Very cool. What role do rebates play in aligning with bigger business objectives? You talk about guardrails and more playing defense on the retrospective side and margin protection.
Yeah, sure. So we, like many businesses, we have specific targets, monetary targets. But I think more and more now we're starting to, let's say, mature. And I think I'm seeing this across the industry as well, where the money side of things is one thing, but the behaviours that have been driven is by far more powerful. It's hard to put a target on that, but it's definitely within our strategy. So the example given earlier about finding the angle in which both parties can come to mutual benefit, that's what we're looking for all the time. Because there's only so much you can push a zero-sum rebate. You have to be looking for those wider objectives. And if you can't get them, then they're not strategic objectives. You just don't need to accept that and move on and find the ones that are strategic.
Makes sense. So you work with over 300 suppliers. What qualities would you consider make a strong trading relationship and truly strategic versus transactional? How do you separate the difference? Yeah,
sure. So 300 suppliers is what we've got in for rebates. We work by far more, but those are the ones that we work on a rebate basis. So for me, for them to be strategic, they've got to be really transparent on the goals that they have as a business so that we can align our goals to them. I think if you're unable to do that, I think Andrew explained it earlier, back to pre-2007, that very linear, thin model of supply chain, you're only going to be able to talk about volume rebate at the most, I would suggest. So if you can't go beyond that in terms of understanding, well, how can I leverage their supply chain? What do I bring to the party? What do they bring to the party? What access can I create? So on and so forth. If you're not talking about those things, you haven't got a strategic relationship, in my opinion. So that would be that.
Makes sense. When you think about innovation and supplier collaboration, what does a win-win future look like for you and your trading partners?
I think understanding their over objectives and knowing that when we've both left the table of negotiation, that we've got a way forward towards that. I think, we can understand that I might go in with a certain objective and it completely contradicts to someone else. But there's always a way of circumventing background to be able to get what you want on both sides. And if you can't, then maybe we need to face into the fact that maybe that's not a good relationship because it's not going to be sustainable. At some point, something will snap in that trading.
All right, moving on to AI and optimization, which is the topic of the hour. So AI is moving fast. How do you see it reshaping your commercial and pricing strategy? I mean, the next 3 years, that's far, right? Like maybe let's focus on the next few months, even with how much.
I mean, I'm happy to try and give it a future vision because it does fascinate me. So I think it really depends on what market segment you're looking at and where you play. So if I reflect on, let's say, the smaller end of the market, so very much you've got a product and a price on the customer side. I think that's going to become more and more price-led, content-led as well, actually. We're seeing it already where customers are going to AI and saying, I've got this problem, I need these things, where do I go? So the content becomes so much more important. What I'm also potentially forecasting is the end of PPC or SEA, so the search engine payments, and a move more to charging the consumers for that privilege. So if you haven't got a ticket for ChatGPT or something similar, it's going to be very difficult for you to find a good deal because you'll just be on the websites, going through normal SEO. So I think that's going to be a real shift change. There's huge marketing budgets at the moment for Google, for example. I think that's going to shift, and that will create more budget to go into product enrichment and things like that, because you can't simply just boost your ranking anymore. You have to be really good on the content and the service and solutions. So that's the smaller end of the base. I think when you start to go up, it's going to become more and more value-based. So how do you move away from the price of the product or service to there is a price because we have to recognise some income, but also I can do all of this other stuff for you, and that is aligned to what you need and what's going to benefit you. I think if we're not doing that, sooner or later those companies are going to really struggle to differentiate because they're not going to be able to explain everything through the price of a product. It has to be that we have to give more to our customers. Yeah.
I'm reminded of earlier of the day, Andrew talking about his keynotes, and if you're not able to adopt and you're going to get swept away, so you have to look at this opportunity to be competitive and test and try. And yeah, absolutely, if you're not making those big bets, you will fall out by the wayside. That was great. If AI could instantly analyze your global rebate and pricing data, which we're getting very close to, as we just talked about, what kind of hidden opportunities do you think companies might discover?
So I think there are two key ones. So one is conflicting agendas. We've kind of touched upon it a few times today, but there's this innate trade-off between the cost of goods and the rebate, but also what the market's doing as well. So I've probably all seen it where we've got too much leverage in rebate, our cost price is too high, and we just can't compete in the market. So you end up in this kind of circle of doom, I'd probably refer to it as. So I think it would highlight some of that. Where is it not being effective, and where do we need to redeploy that trade-off between cost and rebate? But I think also it will start to address where the behaviours, or the intended behaviours, are not being seen or felt. It's a really good example made earlier. Those rebate calculators, those rebate agentic agents will start to say the reason you did this rebate was for reason X, but we're not seeing that behaviour. So you have a conversation with the supplier or customer, however you sit on that fence.
Mm-hmm. So we're getting there, right? We may have agents talking to each other, and I'm just curious, with AI suggesting optimizations that will improve profitability and getting to that holy grail of net, what would it take for you to feel confident on acting on those recommendations? I'm fascinated by where we are at this crossroads of AI-led, but human intervention is so important. So yeah, what are you thinking about?
It's a great question, and I'm an advocate of not just taking something at face value. So I've recently got into Perplexity, which I think is a good example of what I'm going to describe. So what Perplexity does, it lists, if those who haven't used it, it lists all the sources that it's referred to. So, there's quite often a case of you ask it a question, it gives you an answer, but ChatGPT's a failure to this. It won't tell you how it's got to that answer. It would just say, well, this is the answer, take it or leave it. Perplexity gives you those sources. So coming full circle, if I'm making a key commercial decision, I need a full breakdown as to how that agentic, bit of software has got to that answer. And also as well, what I'd like to see is, some best case, worst case scenario of what could happen if I took that decision. Not just this is the best decision, but bear in mind that this could happen in a catastrophized example, this could happen in the best case, and what those catastrophized levers might be. And it's up to me as the human to understand and try and interpret what the risks and severity and likelihood of all of that happening is, so I can take a good decision going forward.
Super smart. I like that. Constraint focused. With we're getting close to the end of our time together, but not yet. We'll have more time later. But I love this question. It was similar to a panel earlier in the day with just prompting, right? We're all pseudo prompt engineers. If you could ask AI one perfect, perfect, that's no pressure, one perfect actionable question about your rebate and pricing programs, what would it be and why?
Yeah, so I'm going to take this from the context of a world where the AI has all of my negotiation, like audio clips from calls, from meetings, the documentation. It's got a view on what the agendas of the suppliers and that is. So if that was all in there, I'd simply ask it, give me a 3 to 5 year plan that's going to allow both parties to get to where we want to be, particularly for my strategic suppliers. And I think that's, and also as well, a plan of sort of activity on how we're going to get to that plan as well. So that would be my thing. I'd want a long-term plan from it.
Long-term planning, smart. Finally, what piece of advice would you offer and share with professionals here about preparing their organizations for the next wave of supply chain and rebate innovation?
Yeah, sure. So I think this is really where we have to start leaning into our, what I'd call unfair market advantages. I talked a bit earlier about, especially as you get to more high-value customers, what else you bring into the table that's going to help offset that very big fight. This is going to be another period of great leveling. The small guys are going to be able to do as much as the big guys because of the tools that are coming to market. And if we don't adapt by differentiating and leaning into those unique opportunities, customers will always go to the cheapest proposition because the baseline is just so even. I think if you can't, do that, my other advice would be to figure out how you can do it the leanest, cheapest. I mean, the likes of a Temu of the world scare the hell out of me because they've got the best supply chain, the biggest warehouses. They can move goods anywhere. Now, that's very attractive because they can keep their costs down. They don't have to necessarily have a unique proposition. That's what you'd be competing against if you don't, kind of step up and demonstrate your unfair market advantages.
Excellent. Well, I think we have some time to ask if anyone has some questions for Alan. Some time. Any questions? Scan once, scan twice. All right. Well, thank you so much, Alan.
Thank you.
I appreciate you being here. Appreciate it.